there, sheepdoggers, and welcome to Tyranny. So, I live streamed this, and I actually recorded it. I recorded all of it, except for it all got corrupted. Like it all got, I lost the entire thing. And I was thinking to myself, like, you know, I could take it off Twitch, but I wasn't sure. And then I was like, you know, for a game like this, it's probably better to do it as a recording if I am going to put it up as a series on YouTube. So, with that in mind, I'm doing this kind of like intro character creation type thing to gauge your guys' interest. You know, like if I put out this video and it gets 10 views and no one particularly wants to see it, then I can avoid worrying about doing it as a series. If, however, it seems like people want to see it and it's popular, then I can do a series on it and, you know, see how we go with it. So that's the basic plan, guys, you know, basically just chuck it up there and be like, yeah, I want to see this, and I'll do a series on it. So we'll do the, we'll play it on normal difficulty, nothing expert or anything like that. And I'll be quiet for this intro bit, and then I'll talk a bit more. Of course, I thought it was going to load straight in. It's not loading straight in. So I'll talk a little bit more until it actually gets to the part where it does the intro. I'm not sure how long this video will be. Obviously, you guys will know, because you'll have seen the length of the video. But I think it'll probably be fairly long, because there's some really cool stuff in the kind of character creation as well, which it would be nice to see. Yes. I kind of thought, like, oh, here we go. Okay.
For over 400 years, the armies of Kairos the Overlord have swept across the known world. All who stood against them fell before their might. Even the Archons, women and men of immense power, were forced to kneel, chained to the Overlord's will. Now Kairos' final conquest has come to our corner of the world, and two of the Overlord's armies compete for the honor of taking our lands. The elite disfavored, and the teeming horde of the Scarlet Chorus. The voices of Nerat, spymaster and Archon of secrets, guides the fierce and undisciplined masses of the Scarlet Chorus. With each battle, the Scarlet Chorus grows stronger, as the defeated are given a simple choice: serve or die. Graven Ash, Archon of War and the Overlord's most loyal general, leads the disfavored. Though small in number, Kairos' ironclad legion has never met true defeat in open battle. Watching over the two generals is Tyranny, the Adjudicator, Archon of Justice, eldest of Kairos' minions. Tyranny brings Kairos' laws to newly conquered lands, aided by the Fatebinders, judges and executioners of the Overlord's laws. You were among the youngest of the court of Fatebinders when Kairos' armies came to our lands. How could we have known that the fate of thousands would rest in your hands?
Oh, yes. Okay, so, what I was thinking for this guy, or girl, no, guy, yeah. Okay, let's make him a tall dude. Okay, so, I've played a fair amount of this. I haven't got that far with it, but you know, it's been interesting. I've really enjoyed it so far, and I'll try not to skip over things that I kind of instinctively know. You know, like you get these things where you can kind of read out this stuff. I won't go too massively in depth. Kairos is a name out of legend. For centuries, the Overlord has consolidated power, sending vast armies to swallow entire realms. The most powerful mystic of the world has ever seen, Kairos can issue edicts, magical proclamations that level cities, spread pox, sunder lands, or change the course of seasons. The Archons, masters of magic throughout the known world, bow to Kairos, and the Overlord readily destroys any Archons unwilling to kneel. These sorceresses and madmen lead the Overlord's armies in near-endless conquest. As the realms of the known world fall to the Overlord, these captured territories are divvied up amongst the Archons to manage. Able to deliver suffering and woe to every corner of Taratus without leaving the capital, few have seen the Overlord in person. Though Kairos' name is the single most recognized name in the world, only the Archons can say what the Overlord looks like. So, in the Northern Empire where you were born, men enjoy equal protections under laws of Overlord Kairos. So basically, men can own ships, women own land, and most men kind of enter into the work of their fathers, and some people become criminals, and etc. And a lot of people get conscripted into the army. So my thought, I was thinking it would be interesting. That's kind of an interesting look. Hair color, going kind of browny. Yeah, that's... yeah, that's good. And of course we must have a beard. We must have a beard. There we go. And voice no voice. Huh.
Interesting.
Good work. You learn something every day. I'll just hold on to this.
On the lookout. My wounds are slowing me down. Interesting.
To battle!
Okay. And tattoos, I mean, I did find a really interesting one before. It was this one here, and I had it like green and red, so the red looked like, you know, veins or blood or whatever. I thought it was really cool. But maybe I mean, a golden purple snakes on my legs is interesting, definitely. What's this? I think I stopped on that one, so I didn't look much further. Yeah, let's go with that. That's cool. That's cool. And we'll go with this portrait for now, I think, unless there's something else. Basically, I was thinking it would be interesting to play this guy as a kind of... Oh, that might work. Yeah, that might work. Okay, let's go with this guy. So I thought it'd be interesting to play this guy as a kind of like Sith Lord almost. So I thought I'd try it and play him as kind of like a Sith Lord. So today you're a Fatebinder, and so this is basically our origin, like where we came from. So you've got the Pit Fighter. It said that any fighter slays a dozen others, grand melee, giving her freedom. Only 3 warriors have ever walked away. Word of your accomplishment. You became the 4th to granted freedom. Okay. So this is basically you join fighting arena. Most people don't get out. You did. Soldier. So you were deemed smarter than the average killer. Groomed for command, given education in letters and numbers. You were going to be recruited into the disfavored, but the Archon of Justice, Tunon, recruited you into the Fatebinders. Okay. Lawbreaker, accused of a crime, and you most certainly did commit. So Tunon basically said you could be a Fatebinder or work for him, I guess. And you now interpret and enforce the law. Okay, Hunter, you were with a tribe and then got defeated. The disfavored came up and destroyed your lands, I guess. Guild Apprentice, deeply proud of your intelligence. Your parents always knew you were too smart for a life hands in the soil, so they put you with a guild. Several years, you learn much from mages. Your magical studies came to a halt when Voices of Narat, the Archon of Secrets, deemed guild peacetime distraction must be disbanded. You were claimed by Tunon. Okay. War Mage. When you like, if you guys want, you can pause this, by the way, while I'm just going through it, kind of skimming through it, basically, and you can read exactly what it's about. I have read these before. You know better than to ask. It's a lot of training. Came to the barracks, laid claim to your life, seeing you as too valuable. Okay. Noble Scion, born to noble parents, you were groomed for leadership. When your parents came under accusation of sedition, Tunon. Parents were found guilty. You kind of pleaded your release, basically, I guess. As long as you remain in good standing, your family might live. That's interesting. Karaskos bestowed great wealth on your family for some unmentioned service. Nomadic tour, careless world. So he's kind of diplomat. Not only did you plead innocent, turned the accusations around on the accuser, for wasting the court's time. Tunon claimed you as his new. I think maybe the War Mage would suit this. I'm gonna go with War Mage, and like last time I went with Hunter. We'll see how this goes. So. Few have combination of wits and courage to be casters and warriors. Yeah, kind of like tank mage, I guess. Okay, so charged fist, channeling, sending them flying backwards. Frost spells. So vigor spells. So we've got vigor spells, which are kind of like buffs, and atrophy, which are kind of debuffs, and then you have frost spells and shock spells, and it would be interesting to do wield, maybe, or unarmed, like a mix of unarmed and shock spells could be really interesting. Javelin, and then if we go to next, so if you see like primary, we go shock spells. And you can also see we do look a little Sithy. And then if you go to this, you get Spear and Shield and War Mace instead of Sword and Shield and Short Bow. So there's that. I kind of think that unarmed would be interesting. I also... I didn't fail. Okay, so you just get that as an option. Okay, so unarmed, you've got Flurry of Bows, and you got Palm Strike. Palm Strike... perform powerful palm strike, interrupting them, pushing them back, and silencing them from spellcasting. This could be really interesting if we do it so that, yeah, okay, so I'm in for this. This sounds interesting. Kind of like yeah, okay. So our characters' colors. How about we go... Interestingly enough, a lot of the colours are quite dark, so it can be difficult to get right. That is wrong. That looks alright, doesn't it? Maybe that colour? Yeah, that colour instead, I think. So, name, we'll just go with Sheeply Dog. Sheepdog. Okay, so. What we need is quickness. Strongly recommended. Training in shock. So we want resolve gives us affliction duration, endurance, will, and magic defense. Vitality gives us bonus health and will defense. Wits gives us spell strength and magic defense. Quickness gives us ability and spell cooldown. Finesse gives us accuracy and armor deflection. Okay, so what we probably want is 3 there. 2 there. 2 there. And then we'll go 1 in vitality for a little survivability. And we'll see how that goes. Okay, so that's the take we're going to take. Now we have magic staff determines the effectiveness of attacks using a magical staff. Higher skill values lead to more. The accuracy of both magical attacks is determined by both magical staff. Okay, so we need this for magical attacks. We've got some lore. I'd like more subterfuge as well. So if we take this up, 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 that leaves us with 10. I'm going to raise my subterfuge to 30. And then I will raise my magical staff by 2. Athletics. Ability to intimidate or physically overpower someone, which will be really useful. So let's raise that up. And raise that up 1, I think. Wait, no. Let's raise our dodge up, because we're obviously not going to be like massively armored or anything. We got to do the conquest. Okay, so basically you can quick start, which skips through the character creation, but the character creation is really interesting, and I want you guys to see it. So we're going to do the conquest. There's going to be a bit of voice acting and stuff. I'm not going to talk over it. I'm just going to let it play. Like, you know, I don't like to get too commentatey while that's happening. So we'll do this.
All the world has fallen to Kairos, and now the Overlord's eye is on the Tears, our home. The last corner of the world free of Kairos' reign. 2 armies, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, march south from the Northern Empire, the last realm to fall to Kairos a century prior. In the early days of 428, Kairos' armies arrive at the Gates of Judgment, the mountainous border that we Tearsmen so long believed unassailable. Unable to agree on a unified plan of defense, the various leaders of the Tears sit and wait for each other to deal with the conquerors, until it's too late.
Okay, so during the conquest, you'll decide your character's actions during Kairos' invasion of the Tears, shaping the world which you will adventure over the course of the game. Each choice you make affects your character and how major factions of the Tears respond to you. Your decisions matter, choose wisely. So far, that's been true from what I've played, and it's really interesting. I do really like it. So basically, you get presented with certain things. The Bastard City, yeah. So I'm going to leave this here. I'll kind of click on these things so you can pause and read up. But yeah, this is where Tunon established his court once the conquest was over. So this is like a little backstory of what you did. The Bastard City stood on the northern border between Kairos' empire and the Tears. Built upon a natural harbour at the crossroads between the realms, the city was the nexus of commerce. To Tears, it was the centre of all wealth. To a northerner, little more than a backwater trading post. Symbolic status as a gateway to the continent made it natural first target in Kairos' military conquest. Circumstances were ideal for you to prove your worth as a soldier in Kairos' armies. Taking this city would send a message to the rest of the Tears. Kairos' will is insurmountable. So, you get a choice. You have the Gates of Judgment. The armies of Kairos took the battle to the Gates of Judgment, trumpeting the opening call of the conquest of Tears. The 2 armies brought their distinctive sense of order and chaos to the assault. You went to battle alongside the army whose approach best suited your strengths. So you got standing... I did this one already. This is like infiltrating. It's interesting. Standing shield to shield with Kairos' ironclad elite, you advanced on the mercenary army purchased by the nobles of the Bastard City. Legion wanted to send a message to the Tears that superior breeding and disciplined training would win the day. You rushed with the chaotic mass of the Scarlet Chorus and flanked the Bastard City's army and drove them to flee. Or infiltrate. You lent your skills to the elite disfavored scouts, capture a border garrison. Graven Ash insisted that an early victory in an offensive would boost the morale of his troops and diminish the haughty overconfidence of the Southerners. Or you join the Scarlet Chorus raiding, conscripting every able-bodied man. The Voices of Narat, which is the leader of the Scarlet Chorus. He's one of the Archons. He's also called the Archon of Secrets. Emphasized the rewards of conscription and enslavement over wanton bloodshed. Apparently his soldiers needed a reminder. So, I think what we'll do is we'll do the Gates of Judgment, and we'll go with the disfavored on this one. Yeah. Bastard City learned too late that a military is earned and never bought. The mercenary army quickly found themselves outclassed by the superior tactics and formations of the disfavored. Those few who lived to the end of the battle were rounded up, the weak executed, and the strong enslaved to haul the army's wagons on the journey south. And next up we have decide the fate of enemy soldiers. The soldiers of the tiers fell by the hundreds, and Karis's armies could not agree on how to handle. Basically, what you do with these guys. Again, you guys pretty much you guys can pause these during the video to read what they're about. I already know what they're about, and I'll be talking about them as we go. So I'm just gonna right click them to pull them up for a sec. You can pause them if you want to read them. Needed slaves to haul their gears. You can assign the survivors of the battle to their subservient role among Graven Ash's troops. You gave prisoners the chance of serving Karis's army or die. Scarlet Chorus was in need of extra troops to fill up the vanguard, and your former enemies would... Yeah, so I think, like, conscripting them, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with taking them in, and with the Scarlet Chorus for this one. You armed cooperative ex-soldiers with scrap weapons, tossed them into the vanguard of the next Scarlet Chorus assault. Those who survived were welcome to take up arms and armor of the fallen and eke out a desperate struggle to survive in Karis's military. After their first victory, you rewarded the new recruits with the opportunity to execute their wounded or reluctant countrymen. Look at that. He's this dude here looks so Sith. I'm pretty sure that's the Tunon, the guy I work for. The armies of Karos amassed around the Bastard City, the first bastion of the Tiers, to fall. Both armies longed to storm the walled outpost, the Scarlet Chorus howling for plunder, and the disfavored forming an unbreakable shield wall. Your prowess on the field of battle had carried them this far, but there was one more step before total victory. Both of the armies had inspired schemes to take the Bastard City. Which did you support? So you join the disfavored vanguard in a direct assault. No fortification would stop. So that gives... This also gives you an ability. Stand your ground, you'll regenerate, but your damage is reduced. Join Scarlet Chorus, setting fire to the city, blocking the gates. Defenders would surrender or burn. This gathers heated energy and release it on a foe. The target ignites, burning over time. And then you led a mixed band of disfavored and Scarlet Chorus scouts over the city walls to sabotage its defenses. We're not really stealth, but this does give survivability. I quite like this one, actually, with the Scarlet Chorus. I'm going to go with that one, honestly. I think that's quite fun. It was passing strange to barricade the very gates you sought to cross, but it all made sense when the fires began. The Scarlet Chorus sent a constant rain of flaming arrows over the walls of the Bastard City, a plague that lasted through long days and tireless nights. By the end, the blaze was too much for the city defenders to contain. Citizens crowded at the gates, pleading to be freed from their smouldering city. You and your army were happy to oblige them. When the gates opened, they opened from inside. And there you see, like, oh, it's getting broken and destroyed. So, we took the Bastard City, and now it's got Karis's banner. My name was whispered, alongside rumours of decorated career to come. Tunon sent word that you were to join the next frontier in Karis' conquest, either as a judge and overseer of the settlement of Lethian's Crossing, or as a war advisor. So we're going to go with judge and overseer for Lethian's Crossing, and we'll see what we get here. 429 TR, year 2 of Tyranny. So it started 428. 428. Years ago, Lethian the Bold founded a small merchant town at the intersection of ancient old walls. A pact between the settlers and a mercenary company meant that the caravans were able to travel without fear of bandits or bane, and the town thrived in modest insignificance. Lethian's Crossing drew Karis' attention for the iron deposits in the surrounding hills. With the region under Karis' control, the northern smith mages could set up workshops to refine ore and arm the disfavored with the finest weapons in the known world. The Archon of Secrets dismantled the mercenary support with a generous bribe, taking the crossing in a bloodless victory. Tunon dispatched you to travel alongside Karis' forces and bring order to the region. And by the way, guys, the reason why I'm not reading everything and all that kind of stuff is because, like, very clearly, I don't want this kind of thing to be too long. So I'm trying to get an equal balance between reading too much and giving you enough information. So I'm trying to keep it like fairly short and sweet, but not too short and sweet so that you don't know what's going on. Karis' smith mages worked day and night to create weapons. No one faulted their dedication, yet production was low. The plan that came to light proved divisive to the disfavored and Scarlet Chorus. On one hand, any additional manpower was needed for fighters, not forges. On the other hand, the celebrated weaponry of Karis' armies needed to be fiercely guarded. So the Scarlet Chorus took refugees from the recent influx, forced them to serve. You repurposed these individuals to wagons of iron for the smith mages. This proved an inconvenience to the Scarlet Chorus, who relied on their force of numbers to be effective in the field. You conscripted help from a local tribe of beastmen. Their strength would more than offset their disobedience. The disfavored protested that savages have access to the secrets of iron, but their voices were few compared to the support of the Scarlet Chorus. So yeah, I'll go with this one as opposed to the other one. Scarlet Chorus were overjoyed to learn of a beastman conscription and graciously lent their support to your cause. The local beastmen were subdued and yorked to iron-bearing wagons, where their boundless strength and tirelessness proved critical to the smith mages. The disfavored grew agitated about exposing the secret of iron to savages. You attempted to allay their concerns, but your words fell flat before a stubborn, uncompromising audience. I should have looked at the other one, really. That's my bad. Pick of the armory. Since you aided the production of weapons, commanders of both armies lobbied for additional arms. They offered all manner of bribes to be next in line for a fitting session with the Masters of Forge. How did you sate their lust for iron? And the other one is, Karis' armies used Lethian's Crossing as a reprieve from war. City grew more crowded as a mercenary armor hired by the Archon of Secrets occupied the barracks, where they drained resources and escalated tensions. The disfavored one wanted nothing to do with the sellswords, but the Scarlet Chorus sought to invite them into the fold. Mercenaries be kept far away. You built a separate barracks. Keep the sellswords out of the army's way. Strict laws against disorderly conduct. Let Scarlet Chorus and mercenaries engage in combat games. Those who won took a great share of provisions. Invited to join Karis' army. What about here? Let disfavored have the iron. The Scarlet Chorus saw the slight obvious display of preferential treatment. Gave the iron arms to Scarlet Chorus commanders, knowing they pay well for killing tools. You allowed no changes to orderly dispensation. Punish those who tried to bribe you twice. That could be interesting. Like, not being above bribery. Yeah, let's do that. Using language that left nothing open to interpretation, you let both of the commanders know that bribery would not be tolerated in Karis' military. That didn't stop either of them from seeking you out again, making promises of wealth and advancement if you showed special favor. Deciding that that was enough, you ordered both of the commanders flogged in view of their armies, letting pain and humiliation teach them where reason had failed. Okay. Tragedy struck when a mercenary hired by the Voices of Norat injured a forge-bound artisan, leaving him unable to practice his craft. Tunon ordered the mercenaries to leave the city in the hands of Karas's more responsible servants. Only a token garrison could be left behind while the armies returned to the front. As the disfavored and Scarlet Chorus showed increasing tension and hostility towards each other, Tunon decreed it best that only one force control the crossing. Granted control of Lethean's crossing to the disfavored. Okay, so the disfavored tend to need the iron a lot more. This is something I know from having played it before, and also I like the Scarlet Chorus are kind of just an unruly mob, so I'm going with the disfavored. The disfavored placed a modest garrison in the settlement of Lethean's Crossing, though the force was larger than might be needed to police the small settlement. Protecting the forge-bound ironsmiths became the true agenda of the defense force, as these magical craftsmen keep the disfavored invasion force suited in iron. Relieved at the departure of the Scarlet Chorus, the citizens of Lethean's Crossing felt they got the least of two burdens. You received word from Graven Ash, who's the leader of, he's the Archon of, and in charge of the disfavored, thanking you for your decision. The Forgebound, I'll just open this up for you guys quickly so you can read it if you like. Pause it there if you'd like to read this. There you go. The Forgebound and their weaponry could not be entrusted to the Voices of Norat. And there's the Voices of Norat. Pause it there if you'd like to read that. Along with the Scarlet Chorus. Pause it there if you'd like to read that. I already know this stuff. But I want to give you guys the opportunity, you know. Huh. Okay, so we have three choices here. With the mercenaries expelled and Lethean's Crossing under new leadership, Karas's forces congratulated themselves on bringing order to the settlement and guaranteeing a productive flow of resources. Over the course of this diversion, the army front advanced further into the tiers. Your skills were needed in the realm of Azure, Stalwart, or the Vellum Citadel. And here's the Vellum Citadel, largest archive. Okay, so we've got Stalwart. Easily defended. It's basically a formidable realm. It's a, it's, which one is it? Azure. So yeah, it's this one at the bottom here. Then you got the Vellum Citadel. Karas's conquering gaze fell upon the Vellum Citadel, its treasures, its knowledge, its secrets, or Karas dispatched the Archon of Stone to subjugate the nation of Azure. I think we'll go with the Vellum Citadel this time, like the knowledge, the secrets, etc. Last time I went very military-esque. This time I want to be a bit more diplomacy and knowledge. I want to be all about knowledge. So here's the Vellum Citadel again. I don't know if I did that, but pause it if you like. There we go. The Vellum Citadel was an archive and library of massive scale. Its inhabitants were known as the School of Ink and Quill, a circle of mages that centuries ago carved out their own mountainous refuge on lands unsettled by other major realms. Legend said that the Citadel housed a treasure trove of arcane knowledge. The Overlord's spies infiltrated the school and confirmed as much. The time was ripe to send a detachment to the great library fortress and force the scholars to yield to Kairos. Here are my choices. So, chain of command. Detachment of Karas's armies marched on the Vellum Citadel, expecting an orderly surrender. As they neared, a blast of arcane energy struck the commanders dead. Suddenly, the highest-ranking officer alive, Karas's forces looked to you for the next step. The call weighed on your mind. It had immediate influence on soldier losses. Ordered the expendable Scarlet Chorus to attack, commanding disorderly mob forward to give elite disfavored a chance to withdraw. Though a costly maneuver in terms of life loss, this assured the survival of most capable and effective soldiers. You ordered the disfavored to advance their shield wall, knowing that a handful of Karos elite soldiers could hold off the attack until the Scarlet Chorus retreated. You know the disfavored would despise you for any losses at the Scarlet Chorus's expense, but that was a small price to pay for saving lives. Interesting. Or Song of Ensnarement. Siren, Archon of Song, used her power to enthrall enemy mages who crept beyond the citadel walls. After Karos's forces rounded up arcane practitioners, disfavored began executing the new captives before they could share dangerous knowledge, a crime under Karos's law with the Scarlet Chorus. So you punish them for executing mages bound to Scarlet Chorus, ordering several soldiers be given to the Archon of Song as a personal bodyguard. Calm the disfavored with a compromise. The sage's mouth would be bound with iron bridles, preventing them from speaking their forbidden knowledge. Yeah. As the disfavored fitted the sages with their restraining masks, the Scarlet Chorus openly criticized the suppression of enemy intelligence. You gave the soldiers a stern lesson on Karos's laws and the sensitive treatment of forbidden knowledge, but that didn't stop the whispering and rumors that the conquest was being mismanaged. Uh-oh. I'm doing badly. Archon of Song incited Scarlet Chorus recruits to fight for their leaders. Bosses were killed and supplanted left and right. The disfavored demanded an end to practice for the good of the conquest. Spymaster's agents. A group of enemy mages surrendered to the disfavored, claiming to be spies loyal to the voices of Nerat. No one in the army could verify the claim. The disfavored ready to interrogate the mages, but the Scarlet Chorus protested, demanding that the prisoners be given to their custody. They couldn't risk the voices of Nerat's secrets falling into the wrong hands. The mages were disfavored property. They remain in custody while you reviewed their claims. Again, like, I don't... Like, with spies and that kind of thing, you have to find out who they are. So, I'm going with the disfavored again, apparently. You took time poring over the mage's confiscated documents. Finding no blatant messages to the voices of Nerat or anyone else, you resolved to question the mages yourself. When you reached their cells, you discovered their bodies, each of them slaughtered in a grisly display. Tense discussion and accusations followed. With no evidence to suggest a responsible party, you're forced to let the matter drop. Uh-oh. Crestfallen by the personal preferential treatment you showed the disfavored, the Scarlet Chorus retreated deeper into the mountains, leaving your detachment with a skeleton crew. Tunon sent word that the Karos's patient had run thin. The Overlord would cast an edict of fire on the enemy. The parchment arrived in a slender case of engraved iron. Written on it, the words of a spell powerful enough to destroy the Vellum Citadel. You had the choice of when to read the edict. Reading it at sunrise would offer your enemies no warning of the devastation to come. You could also wait until sunset, giving them ample time to flee or make amends. Though the chorus insisted your action doomed their spies, disfavored applauded your decision. So do it. I'll do it. I'll give them time. I'll go with the Scarlet Chorus this time. So claiming they still had spies within the Citadel, Scarlet Chorus urged you to warn the mages of the Overlord's edict. Granting their request, you met with the enemy under a blue flag of peace, warned them of their doom, giving Chorus spies and the enemy a chance to run. Confronted the mages with a warning and hoped the message was received. The hour before sunset, numerous figures were spotted fleeing the citadel. As the sun dipped under the horizon, you read the words of the edict. The earth shook and red-orange light glowed in the foundation of the sprawling citadel. Bubbling up from under the library, a torrent of lava heaved with explosive force, gushing from windows and between loose bricks, melting winding trenches in the surrounding land. Days later, the flames still raged on. The conflagration continually fed and renewed by the power of the edict. Is that a mountain? It looks like a mountain. The armies of Kairos left the devastation of the Vellum Citadel in silence. From that day forward, the Tears came to know the once noble citadel as the Burning Library. This was an undisputed loss of resources, knowledge, culture, and life, but a message had been sent. The Overlord will not tolerate defiance. You didn't have long to rest before Tunon called you into service once more. You were one of the last to depart from mountains, and as you journeyed off, you spotted a few campfires in the mountains. They were mere specks dwarfed by the inferno. the last gasps of survivors or perhaps looters from Kairos' armies, bored and daring enough to pick through the ashes. Yes, there we go. That's good. I think there might be some. I think there might be a little voiceover narration before we get into the actual game. But I'll finish this once we get into the actual game, and then you guys can let me know like whether you're interested in seeing a series on this or not. Because I don't want this video to go on for too long, basically.
The year is 431, and Kairos' invasion has shattered all major opposition in the tiers. The Younger Realms, the Bastard Tier, the Free Cities. All who defied Kairos lay broken by battle, or bowed in surrender. The two armies of the Overlord, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, now control our lands. But our will is not yet extinguished. Not entirely. In the Valley of Vendrian's Well, those of us unwilling to bow to Kairos have banded together in defiance. Violating an oath of surrender from 2 years prior, we have staged a bloody uprising, murdering the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus garrison in a midnight assault. With their main forces spread across the tiers, the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus redeploy to Vendrian's Well to crush the resistance. But months pass with no definitive battle. As disagreement and discord paralyze the Archons, we bide our time and wait for our message of insurrection to spread across the tiers. The Overlord is not amused, and Kairos has one message for the Archons: crush the Oathbreakers or die. Kairos backs this threat with an edict, a magical commandment that can slay all in the valley should the order be ignored. The honor of proclaiming this edict fell to you. Sent across the mountains to Vendrian's Well, you carry the Overlord's edict to read before the Archons. As you finally make your way through the winding mountain passes into the valley, the ground trembles, and Kairos' magic seals the way behind you. You are trapped in Vendrian's Well, with Kairos' armies and the Oathbreakers. The only way to survive is to fulfill the terms of the Overlord's edict, in any way that you can.
Okay. So you got like the movement and controls. But I know all the controls and everything now. So we have to speak to her, but what we're going to do is we're going to save it here. Save. And we'll carry this on another time. So, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget, do let me know if you want to see a proper series of this, where we go through the game, that kind of thing. I'm very willing to do it. It's a really interesting game. And yeah, I just want to gauge your reactions, basically. So, gauge your interest as well. So, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Of course, comment to let me know whether you'd like to see this as a series or not. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.